Okay. Dear all, my name is Oladele Ayorinde. I am so happy and excited to welcome you again to the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. Today's seminar is unique like others, but is also unique in its own context because of the kind of focus and the kind of personality and the scholar we are having today. So again, Organ House is a space of scholarly exchange, a creative space, a creative hub for a free space, to negotiate new forms of idea, pushing boundaries, pushing tradition beyond limit, and rigorously engaging ideas and engaging, experimenting new ways of doing things and new ways of knowing, including artistic, professional, and scholarly works, scholarly terrain. So again, welcome to the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. Today's focus is we are focusing today, on the same series we launched recently. I mean, the African music series, the African music series. We've had initial conversation on this particular series, and today we are so happy to to advance or build on the initial concepts, initial ideas, exchange, and knowledge that has been established on this particular platform and in particular, on this series. So today we are having one of us, of course, one of us, a scholar, a composer, a long-standing personality, not only in the scholarly Nigerian music scholarship, but also in the music industry in terms of performance, education, and everything that has to do with music development or African music. Yeah, our uh, presenter for today is actually a known phenomenon. So shortly, I will definitely invite him to introduce himself and I'll also do a bit of introduction of him. But before that, I also like to quickly put just in place what we call the housekeeping, a bit of housekeeping, which we will also get to, as our tradition is on this platform. Towards the end, I will get back to that. But for now, I'd like to inform you or announce to you that you can follow us on our social media pages. Particularly, you can follow us on Facebook. If you check the comment section, I have pasted the links to these pages. You are free to follow us on Facebook, also on Twitter and on Instagram. Just type the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. It's going to take you directly to those spaces and you can start your engagement. You can follow us, you can engage us also via this spaces. And more importantly, on our YouTube page is one of our digitization experimentation in terms of scholarly engagement with society, with community, with ideas, and the future, the future of digitization and documentation. We have a series of recordings, on the platform right now, which are useful, which you are free to engage, you are free to, make use of. That is why they are there. They are for our use and they are for the community development also. So we have topics across board. So please visit the pages and, our YouTube page and engage. You can also follow us, as we work together, in advancing this initiative. Again, thank you so much towards the end, I will go back to this particular announcement again, because it's very, very important. People still reach out to us to ask for recordings of event, recordings of concert, recordings of talks. So perhaps I know they don't know. So hence I am trying to also announce that for people to know that these particular materials are available somewhere free of charge. All you need to do is just to log onto your internet, follow us, and just make use of the materials there. Thank you so much. So let's get back to the business of the day. Yeah. So our guest for today, I am going to do a very brief introduction of him. Of course, many of us know it's not an unknown phenomenon in the industry. So Dr. Chinedu Nathan Osinigwe is currently a senior lecturer at the Ajayi, that music department of Ajayi Crowther University, Oyo Town, Oyo State. Dr. Chinedu is from the southeast zone of Nigeria. He is an accomplished church musician in the Anglican Communion, and is also an accomplished church musician, both in, of course, in Anglican Communion, organ player, composer, and also in choral directing. Presently, uh, of course, he works at the Ajayi University, which I mentioned earlier, and he has also, to his credit, several academic articles published in reputable online journals. He has several musical compositions and arrangements and a vast collection of self-composed hymns and chants. He's a musicologist whose interest lies in exhibiting elements of African motifs and idioms, especially as engendered within its performative context and performative context, and also for pedagogy. He remains a strong advocate for the development and reenactment of African classical, or we can say art music in all its ramifications, employing indigenous, religious, and popular themes for ethnic and cultural representation. Dear all, I am happy to welcome our presenter today, Dr. Chinedu Osinigwe, to the platform. Dr. Chinedu Osinigwe, thanks for joining us today, and we're happy to have you. Please, you have the stage now to give your presentation. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, our co-host, the host of this platform, Dr. Ayorinde Oladele. It's a pleasure being on this platform. And I greet participants on this platform. It's a pleasure having you all to come listen to my presentation. I would say that this is a very good initiative, and we are so proud of MTU for championing this cause, making our voices to be heard, and then making us to engage on contemporary issues that affect us as professionals. Today, I'll be talking about art music being a tool, or being used as a tool to document popular music genres, or, as you may, typologies. And I will be using some of my choral musical arrangements or compositions to draw the analogy and tell us how this process can be achieved for posterity sake. I will want to now share my slides. All right, so the topic is documenting popular music through art music in Nigeria, a perspective from my composition. I hope we are seeing the slides.
Yes,
Hello?
we can see this slide. Do you want to
okay,
also
all right.
use your video? Perhaps your video. Or are you okay that way?
Your video, okay.
Yeah,
okay. Yes, let me do that. Okay. All right. So now, as we know, in Nigeria, music has played a lot of role in our cultural existence. It has played part in our historical development. And so it's a critical part of our life in Nigeria. The music we play. And then, from time immemorial, music has been used to develop even our educational system. And so the essence of this study is to bring to for the aspect of her music being documented, for generations to come. Our art music actually has remained a formidable force where we have, great talented musicians who have, several compositions, several arrangements to their credit. As it were, a lot of the works we do through our art music has remained maybe some of our folk tunes, folk laws, and all other musical style. But I've come to realize that there are just few of our art musicians who dwell on this aspect of popular music, which actually has remained a very vibrant and robust musical genre in Nigeria. Our art music popular music has grown, and then, beyond the shores of this country, we've seen what most of our popular artists are doing, their great works, their achievement and everything. And so even those who have given us those wonderful tunes of old that we've enjoyed, we find out that it's only sometimes you want to hear this music of the old. You will now be asking where you can get the tape or the videos or where. But I now told myself, but if we were able to document this in our own way, and then people can also listen to this thing in another form, either in a choral setting or even an instrumental setting, where such tunes will be played and people will relive on it and remember how those tunes were being done. And so that's the purpose of this seminar. So music is an integral part of our culture. It has been a means of our expression, expressing ourselves and communicating and entertaining. In Africa, music has played a significant role in social, cultural, and political life of its people. Now, over the years in Nigeria, various music typologies have emerged, like I said earlier, reflecting diverse ethnicity and cultural heritage of the country. Now, our traditional popular music, those that we grew within ourselves, the Fuji, the Akpala, the Juju, and all these ones, we know that that one is known with the Southwest Yoruba people. And while the Akoko Negwu and all these palm wine music and all these other Ekpili music, cultural music, are the ones that are known with the Southeast. And the outside, the North have their own kind of music, well, highly influenced by the Islamic religion. And so all this makes music to be full of, to be robust and then quite colorful, as I may want to put it. Now, we've seen at this period, the 21st century, our music also have evolved based on the syncretic approach by artists. We have a lot of form styles, fused together to create what we call a syncretic typology or music style. And then it has remained so, and that's vibrancy, that creativity has made our music to be something that is sought for or sought about all over the world, across the globe, where a new Christian kind of music called Niger hip hop has gained so much wave all over the world. Through globalizations, we've seen our music being performed by the world, being performed by other countries of the world. We've seen our artists, receiving Grammy Awards, people like, what's his name? Burna Boy, Whiskey, and Davido. All of these artists have being global icon, even, as the artists from Nigeria, or seeing some of our artists also having their music recorded. And then our, Nigeria hip hop music style have making so much wave that even in Ghana, you hear most of the last time I visited Ghana, I was hearing some of our, musicians, their work there being performed and people enjoy what the music they were hearing. And so our music also has also been influenced highly by technological, advancement. You find out that from the idea of what was it called? The recording approach now has changed from analog to digital. You find that most music now are sold on various platforms, the Audio Mac, the Boomplay, the Spotify, the Shazam, and as you may. And also, you can take your phone and begin to listen to all manner of music, all manner of songs, downloading them from. So this is how far technology has affected our music. And then the social change also, there have been a series of social change in the way our music, we perform our music. We have the positive change, and then we have also the negative change. By the positive, we talked about most of our musicians now. We see them, the economic status has improved over time. We see a lot of them, giving back to the society, giving to charity, having a lot of things doing, in terms of financial investment and everything. You can see also through the positive change that our artists are engaging themselves with their foreign counterparts in musical collaborations and everything. These are things that are commendable. Our language, that's the Nigerian pidgin language, also been made popular through our artists and across over the globe, and even our languages, the Igbo, Yoruba, in the mixed code, some songs that have mixture of these languages. Some of them are well appreciated abroad. So these are things that we call plus to our social the reputation here in Nigeria. And then musicians also have engaged themselves in the discourse, political discourse in the country, some of them using their music to address some social ills and everything. These are positive social changes we have from when the music evolved to this period we are. And then we'll highlight those that are of negative impact to our culture, which I hear, you know that most times when you do watch our videos, we see our youth, in the dress mode is not something to write home about. The nudity, obscene mode of dressing, and this kind of hairdo that looks so rough, and then adorning, male artists adorning themselves with all lots of these necklace and all these things, showing the form of hooliganism that, that is not part of our culture. We see materialism being promoted, as against decent living, as against somebody living within his means. So all this has really shown a very negative impact on especially our youth, who are the major victims of this social change. Well, that is talking about music in general and how globalization, technology, and social change has affected them, affected it rather. Now, moving on to the next one, we are talking about art music now. Art music, as you know, it's serious music, a classical music, a well thought out music, structured and written. And then it's referred to as a serious canonical or cultivated music. So this art music, which some of us are engaged in, is the tool where we are looking at it as a platform where we can use this to, because we know that our popular music, most times, they don't write down their songs. Their songs are written maybe in lyrics, and then they record the tunes they use for their songs. Maybe record that. Maybe they have the inspiration, they record it, and then the place, and then replay it, and then remember, and then do other. So I wouldn't know if they have any kind of written document of those that anybody can pick and then perform somewhere else, like in the United States or Europe, where most of these popular music are written and they are scored. I don't think we have such in our culture here, where some of our popular music, because most of our popular musicians are music illiterate, or they don't know anything about theory of music. So what they do is just sing abstractly, and then but they have wonderful tunes, they have wonderful music that they churn out over the time. But the problem is this music, we as art musicians have the responsibility of bringing this thing to a documented form, where in future somebody can pick it. Oh, this song, oh, of so time, oh, wonderful tune, and you perform it on stage, maybe as a choral work, or maybe as an instrumental work, and people will rely on, and it will bring back that feeling of nostalgia of those tunes being played. And so this art music is a platform for creating and reinventing musical forms, from the abstract or imaginative to the existing physical, for exciting musical experiences for audiences. So what this is saying, that art music is where we write something from the abstract, from our head, or something existing, we rearrange, we recreate to excite the audience that we want to perform them to. Because art music, we will write for our music to be performed. And so the idea is, when we document this thing, we perform it for people to also enjoy, to appreciate our creativity in such a endeavor. Now, this study looks at how popular music typologies in Nigeria are incorporated into musical notations and recreated to reflect new ideas communicable to an audience. That's what I said. And then so this creative process is just for the purpose of what? Documentation and for reference purposes. Now, documentation is derived from the Latin word documentatio, rather, which means something transposed from a thought to a document, or the written account of an idea. And so, with this definition, it captures the intent of this study, where we try to capture the main, the musical ideas of some. Well, in this study, we have selected musical samples we are going to look at, of those tunes that were so captivating in those days, where people loved tunes that talked about, morals, tunes that gave us things to learn from, so these tunes are captured, and then rewritten, created, to still keep the original theme of the song, but also have a form of recreation around it, a form of reinvention of that same theme, to form something wonderful which the audience may want to listen to. So that's the idea of the documentation mentioned in this endeavor, in this study. Now, the overall gain of this study is to preserve the cultural heritage of Nigerian popular music genre, like I've said severally, and to also to push the boundaries of our artistic expression. Now, the objective has been mentioned severally, and then the songs we selected were the songs from one of the artists called what was his name? One Crazy Number by Rolling Dollars. And then Biri Kambiri is an Igbo song from by the person we call Oliver Dikokwe. And then Asikolaye by one of the legends of Juju music, Chief I'll get the name again. KSA, yes, King Sonny Ade. Sorry about that. Now, this study is descriptive and then adopts the ethnographic method in selecting the primary data. Because we've been here for a while, we've listened to, we are coming from the old school down to the new school. So there have been reasons for us to begin to appreciate the level of music presented at each dispensation that we found ourselves. And so we're able to make selections of these 3 musical samples that we're about to analyze. Now, the analysis of these musical works are done using the criteria listed below. We have the title of the song, the genre, the type of what genre the song is, the name of the artist or musician, and then a little of the biography. Well, the medium for the work I did. What medium was it composed for? The vocal or instrumental, the form and thematic structure, the technique employed in the song, and even the textual structure of the song. And then we'll now talk about the socio-cultural relevance of those songs selected. Now, you can see the song selected Asikolaye was arranged for choral voices, Ibiri Kambiri was arranged for a flute and piano duet. And then Wokeresi Number is done for the piano. All right, let's go to now, this work is theoretically, how will I say, theoretically governed, or it takes its theoretical framework from that concept called musical creativity. Musical creativity, we know, is the process of combining existing musical knowledge in a new way to produce original and fitting musical outcomes. Now, original musical outcome showcases new form, different from existing ones with significant features. And so that is the idea for this study. And a fitting musical outcome indicates appropriateness of music for the purpose of performance aesthetics. So why we do original musical outcome, we also consider that outcome should be something that fit into our cultural, essence, our cultural sensibility that fit into what our audience will like to hear. Now, musical outcomes include improvisation, composition, arrangement, and performance. And so the 3 samples we are analyzing or selected are musical arrangements by my humble self. So the outcomes, the musical outcomes came out of what we call musical, arrangement. And so the conceptual framework that guides the the work entirely is taken from that of Green's creative concepts for musical creativity. In her, she opined that there are three stages, or there are three levels at which musical creativity can take place. Third, the first parameter is that which we call musical knowledge, that you must be musically knowledgeable for you to engage in musical creativity. So that you know the rules of melody, harmony, and rhythm, the musical genres and styles, and so for you to engage in musical framework. Number two is what we call the enabling craft skills. Well, this is for the players, but it says, as somebody who wants to, you must also have that oral skills, ability to hear the sound and to appreciate sound. And then also the technique, the technique involved in performing such, performing any kind of music. You must build the technique. Are you a piano player? You must have the technique. Are you a violinist? You must also have the technique of playing the violin. And so in musical performance or musical creativity, you must be equipped with that internal, gift of appreciating sound, and also the ability to, having the craft, the ability to play it or to manipulate the instrument, or even in terms of singing too, you must equally have that technique for singing. Then the last one is called the creative thinking skill. Now, this is where those who are writing, the composers, the ability to create different scenarios within your work. You convergent idea where sounds are coming together, sounding together. The divergent idea is where, as it were, maybe in a contrapuntal style, sounds are coming at different times, at isolated times. And so this creative thinking brings the creativity in your works. It's one that you impute in your choral composition or piano instrumental composition to bring out that people will appreciate. And so this is the diagram that shows that that holds all the three parameters of musical creativity according to Green. So you can see it: musical knowledge, rules, are knowing the rules, and as earlier explained. And then with that framework, we're able to capture the criteria for our analysis, because all those criteria we mentioned earlier are now captured under these three different parameters for musical creativity. What we'll be looking at in each of the musical samples are embedded in these three parameters for musical creativity as proposed by Green. And so we'll move on away from the theoretical framework into the analysis. Like I said, the analysis are on three selected works of one of the great musicians, some of the greatest musicians in Nigerian music scene, especially that of the high life genre. Ayorinde is of the juju music. Ayorinde and then Oliver De Coque are, within the high life musical genre. And so this, the medium for which the work is arranged for. Asikolaye is a choral piece. One crazy number is a piano for the piano, and then Ibiri Kambiri for the piano, for a duet for piano and the flute. Now, so we are restating the criteria for the analysis. Now, Asikolaye, well, the song was written by, released in 1997 by the person we know as one of the legends of Juju music, Chief Sunday Adeyemi Adegeye, known as King Sunny Ade. He's one of the leading musicians in Nigeria, and then has severally been nominated for Grammy Awards, but I don't think he won any. He's currently 77 years, just a short bio. Now, so like I said, the song is written for 4 parts: soprano, alto, tenor, and bass, with a tenor solo in the song. All right, so this is the form is a ternary form, whereby the main theme. This is how the song thematically was structured. Well, the texture of the song is polyphonic because you have different melodies of different parts coming in. And then in terms of performative style, also we can include the percussive instruments, the drums and everything. So those interacting, sonic materials gives that song what we call a polyphonic effect. Now, the techniques employed, well, the song is written in the key of G, of E flat, in a meter of a 4/4. Well, we have a situation whereby the voices are coming in a contrapuntal, one after the other. There are places where antiphonal technique was used. There was what called the choral ostinato, where the chorus were singing a particular phrase over and over, while the solo, comes in on top of that ostinato. There were a series of modulations and repetition. So the language of the song is Yoruba, and then it talks about Asikolaye ẹ̀dá kan mọ́lá, àìmọ̀ ẹ̀sìkò ló dààmú ẹ̀dá. Lórí àpáta tí Jésù ni mo wà, ogun ayé kan kò lè bà mí lẹ́rù mọ́. Èmi ti sọ wípé tolúwa làṣẹ, kó tú wù sórí àpáta. Kọ́ba Olúwa kó sọ wá dalẹ̀, kó sọ wá délé, rather. Kárèrè ọ̀jàjẹ, kakere oko dele. Well, forgive me, just my little knowledge of Yoruba. And then at my little translation there. Now, I want us to, we'll talk about that. The social theme for that song is religious, is more of a religious song, showing allegiance to the supreme God, saying that, yes, we cannot do anything except God gives us the grace. And then we pray that God, blesses the work of our hands. And so that's the social context of that song, which we've captured. Now, well, this is a representation of at least the first page of the first system of the song. Just give me a time. Let me play the arrangement and see, at least you understand what the way the song was written. This is the bass coming. Tenor comes in now. Altos. This is soprano coming now.
Dr. Chinedu.
Yes.
Dr. Chinedu. Oh, just a moment,
Yes.
please. I just want to let you know that the sound, we can't hear the sound. Perhaps you should your volume, the volume from your end, and increase it a bit.
Okay, from my system.
Yes, or from your end. It's faint. I was hearing it, but faint. It kind of very, yeah.
Very faint.
Yes.
Oh,
So please,
okay.
you can just increase it there, or yeah.
Okay. What about now? Are you hearing now?
Try it again. Let's see. Try it again. Yeah, I could hear, but very, not
It's
very
still faint.
Yeah, very, yes.
Wow.
So I think perhaps that could be from technological angle.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about that. I've raised the volume to the highest. Well, that's Asikolaye for. Well, I understand that some of us we are not hearing the the sound of the instruments. The audio note. I'm sorry about that. From my end, I've been able to increase the volume, but well, let's move on. Then the next one is a one currency number. Well, it was also released in 1997 by the late Olayiwola Fatai Olagunju as Fatai Rolling Dollars. The man was, as history will have it, was a mentor to a lot of high life musicians, Ebenezer Obey inclusive, and one other person. He mentored them. He was known for his dexterity at playing the guitar. He had few singles to his name that he recorded, and the popular one is the one Keresi number, which he did before he died. He died at the age of 85. Well, the song was arranged for the piano instrument, and the form for the arrangement is the theme and variation. The theme and variation is what the kind of form that were adopted for the piano, and that's the thematic structure of the song, of the music, from the first bar to the last. The theme, it has a supporting theme, and then the main theme, and it has a codetta, the moderate passage, the variation where the theme now was that record, in a modulated key, and also until the recapitulation where it came back to the original key. Well, it's homophonic because it's an interaction between the left hand and the right hand. right hand, playing the theme, while the left gives a form of accompaniment to it. So it's homophonic in texture. And then the techniques employed are also highlighted here. It is on key of B flat in a simple meter of 2/4. Well, the language is also Yoruba. Well, the piano has no lyrics, but because we know the music, that's why we're able to write out the lyrics of the song originally. Said no crazy number. These people are below our level. They are not at par with us. We know we've got experience, we've got everything. So these younger ones coming up, they cannot measure up with us. So it's more philosophical, and then shows up of being competitive in that's what you can say about that. Well, I this is the first page of the two systems of the arrangement. I'll play this sounds you will. That's the codetta. Yeah, that's supporting theme coming in now. Yes, that's the variation, the variated version. The harmonic context here is on the sixth. Make use of the sixth for the right hand to harmonize the theme. Now it has come back to the tonic. Well, that's the canon, sharing of the theme. That's the ostinato from the bass end. and that's the coda. All right, so that's one currency number by Fatai Rolindra. And then the last but not least, the Biri Kambiri, which was released in 2014 by the late Oliver Sunday Akanite, popularly known as Oliver Dikokwe, was born in 14 April 1940. For some of these music he records, and then and he sings to kind of pay eulogy to them, to praise them, and so most times he has his songs full of praises for the elites, those who have the money to pay for his services. So he's more of somebody who entertains. His music entertaining those days. He died on the 20th June 2008. Now, this song was arranged for the piano and the flute as a duet. It's also theme and variation. And then the thematic structure is highlighted in here. There's two themes expressed in that song. The big theme is the one that carries the theme that we know. And then the other aspect of the sections within the thematic, the structure. It's also homophonic too, because the piano now is accompanying the flute. Flute is the one that plays the melodic structure of the music. It takes care of the theme of the music while the piano does the accompaniment. But in a place, both of them share the theme, while like in a canonic way, the piano plays and then the flute also plays. They share the theme of the song. All right, so the technique employed, well, the song was arranged on the key of D using the compound meter of 6/8. We had a lot of syncopated rhythm. We have the piano ostinato, yes, which the piano used in accompanying the flute. The piano was using a repeated rhythmic structure, to accompany the flute. Also, like I said, there was a thematic swap where the main theme was shared between the piano and the flute. It has a lot of modulations also, and then repetitions of sections. Now, Ibiri Kambiri is in Igbo language, which means live and let live. Said Ibiri Kambiri, onye azọ n'ụwa azọ, ụwa ga-abacha onye ọbụla. Ibiri Kambiri, it means live and let live. No one should be greedy, because this world will accommodate everyone. Live and let live. And so the social theme is philosophical, teaches about moral and teaches about good brotherliness, how we should look out for ourselves as brothers and not be, consisted, and then maybe greedy in things that I will know that are ephemeral. And so this is what the morals the song teaches. And then this is also the first two systems of the musical arrangement. Let's hope this this is how it goes. Okay, thank you. I'll continue. Okay, sorry about that. I'm so sorry that the sound is not being heard. All right.
No
Now,
problem. We understand
so
technologically. Yeah.
all right. All right. So we'll continue. Well, taking this study further, I want to say that this documentation, the documentation of these musical samples were done, as most of you will know, using a musical software called Sibelius. That is what the software I use in documenting these musical songs that were selected. Well, and it's advised that the performance of these musical samples by interested performers should be, should be with their with using their discretion. When I do my arrangement or composition, sometimes I leave the performance this into the discretion of the performance. How do you want to do it? How do you want to express it? Let it come from your creative mind. Okay, this is what I want to do it. Yeah, the composer has given the music, but whatever the mood and everything can come from the performance. So that is like an advice or information on those arrangements that we just saw or we just heard. Now, so the idea of this, like I've been saying, of this arrangements, musical and documentation is just to do what? To make people who listen to this to have that nostalgic feelings that, this tune, we used to, people will hear it and start saying a lot of things about, then I was young, then I was in my secondary school. So those nostalgic feelings is what we are intended to bring out when these tunes are performed, whether in concert halls, whether in church, anywhere, any forum, the music is performed, people will like relive on those tunes and begin to remember how it used to be in those days. So now the composer or the arranger intends to compile these instrumental works, of the popular music genres of typologies, to put them in a book form and then also in a digital form for easy and wider accessibility. The choral arrangement, which is the Asikulaye, is already in a book form, in a published book, volume 2 of the book titled Popular Tunes from Our Land, which is out now and people are buying. And so, and also, I wish that this initiative is also made available in digital form to people to also access it digitally. And then across the world, people can buy into this idea and play this popular music, in different media rather. Okay. Can to create some of our popular music and make them, accessible on the online for people to buy, to have a copy of it and to perform them at different stages. And that's what this study is recommending, that the documentation initiative of popular music in Nigeria be embraced by Nigerian art musicians because of the following gain. One, it will provide a platform for preserving and showcasing historic popular music genre typologies in Nigeria. Two, it will serve as a bridge between the past and the present, preserving the cultural heritage of Nigeria's diverse music. It will ensure that our rich musical heritage, that is, our diverse popular music typologies, are not lost to their future generations. It will create new, nostalgic, and exciting musical experience for our audiences. Now, also, that Nigerian art musicians should synergize their effort and create a common document on this initiative that will be inculcated into the pedagogical process in the Nigerian education system. That performances of this musical initiative be encouraged among individuals and groups, especially within the tertiary institutions in Nigeria. That these musical initiatives be made available on various online platforms for wider reach and accessibility. This will encourage foreign participation and globalization, as we know, now that we are in a global village. Now, in conclusion, this study therefore reawakens the need to document and archive popular music genres emerging from the Nigerian music scene for posterity's sake. The rich cultural musical heritage of the Nigerian people can be preserved over a long period of time if necessary steps are taken to document and archive some key memorable tunes that were once loved and sung by the people. This initiative also can be used to immortalize late Nigerian musicians whose music have been used in the past for the unity and progress of this country. But this is where we conclude this talk. Thank you all for listening. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Osinigwe. You can stop sharing now. You can stop sharing,
right.
and yeah. I'm also putting my video on once and for all again. Yeah. Then let's do one more step to go. Yep. Thanks so much, Dr. Osinigwe, for that wonderful presentation and quite insightful and quite detailed. Yeah. Thank you so much. Well, I have a few questions for you. And also, I am very sure that our colleagues, friends, and participants equally have questions for you. Definitely, I am sure they have questions. But I'm just going to ask one question, then I'll provide like what okay, let me start from the my last comment on the page regarding the audio material. So again, we know all of us, we are all in this together in terms of technological issues. It's a global phenomenon. So pardon us for today regarding this audio issue, but I'm promising you, we are going to get these specific samples. We are going to make them available to all of us via our social media pages, and we can definitely also continue the conversation from those platforms. We'll make the recordings available to you. I promise you. So let's go back to Dr. Chinedu's wonderful presentation. Yeah, I am quite excited and happy about the presentation for for many reasons. First of all, I see a kind of nexus between creative research, artistic research, and also popular music studies on the one hand. On the other hand, I see also a kind of intersectionality between what I can say, historical studies in Nigerian popular music, and also issues around documentation, particularly oral history, and also issues around documentation, archiving, all these layers, overlapping layers. I see a lot in your, presentation. Yeah, but the question that I'm going to make it very short so we can have our colleagues to also ask questions, so we can have a kind of in-depth engagement for today. There's a lot on the table that you have given us, and it would be nice for us to really engage perhaps here. So the first one, which I find very, very interesting, is the fact that your approach to documentation is quite different and unique in the sense that rather than following the normal route, you are following a creative model. Of course, this is popular, it's a global phenomenon, of course. But the fact that art music to document popular music is is unique, particularly in the Nigerian context. That's one. But the question I have in that sense is simply that, what is the difference between documentation and appropriation? Because when to wear the cap of a creative artist or a creative researcher or artistic researcher, there are layers. When we talk about documentation, there are layers to it, of course. There are layers to it. But one layer that I found very interesting that looks interesting is the fact that I am trying to get the distinction between the idea of documentation and borrowing, sampling, to use other words, or appropriation, although in a positive sense in your case, in your work. Because when we talk about documentation, that's a huge, ambiguous term that is quite huge in its sense. And again, the kind of work you have done beautifully also falls in another pool of long-standing conversation in musical studies. This is we're talking about history of more than 200 years history. Let's look at Mozart, for instance. Mozart did the same thing. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It was a folk song, of course. Beethoven's Four Ellis is a Turkish folk song. These are then also the Team in A by Mozart. Also, these are practice. Also, when we go to Handel, the Harmonious Blacksmith, people have done this over the year, but you are doing it also in a different way. So in that long-standing conversation, it is seen as borrowing. You borrow idea, you borrow themes, then you establish as a creative resource. So I really want you to, expatiate on this in terms of how does your work constitute documentation in the real sense of preserving a particular idea, or in the real sense of, keeping it beyond the limit of its lifetime or social life, as opposed to just sampling, borrowing, or using ideas from an established resources. Yeah. I don't know if that is clear, sir.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I will discuss that. Well, thank you for that question. You know that anything that is, like I said, creative, musical creativity, like I mentioned earlier, is where you make an existing thing where another form, realign, recreate to use it for it to come out in a different form. Well, that is the first aspect of that documentation. There must be that aspect of creativity, putting that what you want to document in a creative form, first of all. Then the aspect of documentation comes with where these things are now domiciled in a hard form, or as it were in this global time where we have we call it the soft copy or soft dissing, where at any point in time people can refer to it. People can say, okay, I want this song. Where can I get the song by this thing, Sonny Ade, Asikolaye, by person? It's be able, that person can retrieve such information or get such documents from anywhere. You and I know that in Nigeria, such has been our problem. A lot of our works are under our drawers. Some of our composers have their, like for example, where you want to look for Samojuku's song, I bet you cannot find them online. You cannot ask, okay, I want to this kind of you may, but it may not be something you can easily, access, unless you know somebody that is maybe in the East, that is a chorister in the East and everything. And so the creativity, the appropriation is one aspect of it, but now making that effort, that work available in all contexts. Can I go to the library somewhere or the bookshop somewhere and buy Samojuku's composition? Is it possible? can I search such thing on online and is it available? That's if it's well documented, the way we can pick Bach's chorale and then be able to access it. That's the work has been done. It has been documented. Anyone can access it. So the idea is when we make this thing available, the creative work available, we put it in where people can access it either by paying or by any other thing. And so that's fact that I can get this, go to any bookshop and say, oh, the works of this on Asikulaye, I want to get, how much is it? Oh, let me have a copy. That copy I'm having is a document of my this thing. And that's why, like I told you, the effort I've made, the 2 volumes of my book, at least that's where I've documented a lot of the tunes, popular tunes that we derive from and so is it anytime you want it is available physically and you can go through them. And so that is the idea. So yes, appropriation is a part of creating that document, but the last aspect of it is when that document is accessible and people can make use of them. Thank you very much. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yeah, definitely, Doc. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to open the platform because I know our friends and colleagues really want to engage, and that's the essence of this, one of the essence of this seminar, to open ideas, to open new layers, to allow people to creativity, to exploration, allow for more engagement. So I noticed some of us have typed on the comment section. Perhaps you still want to speak. You are welcome to use the signs, the emojis, just below your Zoom, and just to raise your hand, like Mr. Shegun Damilola is doing right now. Yes, please do that. Use the signs, raise your hand, and let's engage in real time. Let's engage. That is why we are here. And also in doing so, we are open new layers, new ideas, and open new forms of engagement. That is what we do, and that is what we really, really want to encourage. So I am going to start with let's have Shegun Damilola, please. You're welcome.
Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon to the presenter and the chair of today's web series. Well done, Dr. Osinigwe. You have done very well, and I like your spirit. I just want to point your attention to something. Although during documentation, we choose what to document actually. People choose what exactly they want to document. But I just want to point you to your text when you presented your text, the Asikulaye. You didn't put the back marks, and I think that's also very important in documentation, so that the Yoruba language can also be preserved that way. I mean, it's just a form of preservation. So then secondly, that is Kola Oluwa Koshowa Dele. I didn't see the O. The O is missing in that text line, and that O is also a very fundamental part of the text line, which for me is adverbial purpose of I'm sorry, I wrote it somewhere. Yeah, adverbial purpose of emphasis is emphasizing that God, through the grace of God, we're going to go back to our various homes, and it's an emphasis. That O there is an emphasis. For instance, if I say Magbaeletio, that O is doing a lot of work in that text line. That sentence, and it's an emphasis. I think that's just what I want to note. And well done, sir.
Thank you very much, my brother. Correction taken. Well, I could be some. They say I'm an Igbo man from Anambra State, but I live my own. So I guess we'll have some. Yeah, the notation. The marks. Yeah, I know them. At least in my WAEC, I got B or something in Yoruba language. So, but don't worry, it's still on an ongoing research. We are going to take all those questions into perspective. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Shegun. Thanks for, Again, it's a space where we interrogate and we engage in a way that produce new, ideas, knowledge. So let's have Prince Adeyemi, please.
Thank you, sir. Just to reach out to my brother, Dr. Chinedu. This is Tony Ademuyiwa, you know.
A nice
thank
hearing you, sir.
Very,
longest time.
yeah, it's nice to have you, here. It's a nice walk. Like Dr. Oladele mentioned, documentation.
I think.
Can you hear me, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you, but I don't know, Dr. Oladele, are you with us?
Dr. Oladele, it's like Dr. Oladele is off.
Yeah, Dr. Oladele is apparently having a network glitch, so you can go on, Prince.
You can continue, please.
You can continue.
Okay, thank you very much. Like Dr. Oladele mentioned the documentation. Sometimes documentation does not show availability sometimes or accessibility. I think when we get to archiving, when we have those material archiving, some people document something is still within, then it's not still reach out to people. So maybe when we have a kind of an online or offline archiving, I think that is what we should be working at, not just limiting as individuals that do some documentation where after finishing the research. I think we should work at where all these documentations are getting to, like a library place, whether online library or offline library, where people can, because without accessibility to those documents, then that's the job of archiving anyway. So before we can reach out, we might not know. If you have written that, I might not even have known that you have a work that way if there is no public place that one can. We need to do more on our work to see how we can achieve this archiving in Nigeria, which we can't still find. Sometimes we search for something online, we press it, you stay there for a long time, you won't bring anything out. So I think we should, it's another process that the scholars, the music scholars can work out to get that done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your contribution, sir. Yes, and that's the essence of this series, this engagement. We are talking to ourselves. Nobody can do it except ourselves, taking, those of us gifted in all these areas that we are lacking can help us channel this. Well, I saw my friend Ajayi. He did something sometimes ago under the Nigerian art music forum, where he collected some of our composition and placed them on online. Well, at least I was able to receive some stipend on some of my. So these are the initiatives we are talking about. I don't know if he's here. He can also throw more light on how this archiving thing can be solved. Ajayi, is he still here? Please, I crave your indulgence if you can speak to this aspect of archiving that can make our work visible to other people, both local and international?
Definitely, Mr. Ajayi will definitely say something. In fact, what you're saying, you already have a few comments or pointers in the comment section. And I think, let me just call them. Mr. Ayokumi, do you want to use the mic then to, ask your question or contribute? Do you want to do that?
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Okay.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a big concern to me that art music seem not to be gaining visibility like popular music. It's of a great concern to me, and it appears as if it is mainly celebrated among scholars or in an educated environment or in church. The populace, the masses, don't see it as something relevant to our days. So this brings about to academic composers, those who write art and music, that what can we do to promote our works so that it won't just be for publication in the academia or on the shelf only, but it can actually be relevant to our present society. That's my question concerning promoting the work, not just only writing a good work, but how do we make it to be relevant to our days and be celebrated like every other genre of music? That's my major concern.
Dr. Osinigwe, do you want to say something about that?
It's asking a question that involves everybody. We are all stakeholders in this business. How can we make our work relevant? A way to make our work relevant is to make the work sellable. Now, how is popular music in Nigeria selling? They are selling because they are using things people can relate with. A lot of our composers are looking for abstract music, things that are esoteric, when it's so chromatized, when it's so, a lot of, yes, fine. But when you play it in a place where people don't understand such literature, it doesn't make sense to them. And that is the idea of this study, that we can tap in from the popular music, this thing, use their theme, create a orchestral work of it. It's your name, you are the arranger. You can use that and play it anywhere. You cannot, like Messiah Babami, you can't use it and play, except the audience is a religious, the Christian audience. It cannot go further than within the. So what are you writing? Is this something that can be appreciated everywhere, Muslim can enjoy? And that is the essence. But if I play, it can be anywhere. It can be played in a club. It can be played anywhere, and people will buy into it. They enjoy the music, and it's that appreciation, that audience appreciation that we are looking for. So when people can say, "Oh, how can we?" And then another thing that will make that can help us is having people, sponsor our efforts. Having people, these people who have money, corporate bodies are really buying into our products. That's another way this thing can work. But if we begin to do those things that within, when you compose, it's only sweet to your ears, and then maybe some few people, it might not say to the other persons, but it's only when you do something that beyond you, people appreciate, beyond your church, that go beyond the religious or whatever, and then you make it as simple as possible. A simple melody, a simple this thing that can dance, anything, Nigerians will like something that will make us dance. If you bring something that we just be singing melodies and people are listening and they are not moved by your music, then that's it. That's where it ends. So that's my home. Any other person can say, somebody else can say something else on this, how we can promote our work. But I believe we should look at what we are writing. We should do fusion. There's fusion now. You fuse art music, serious music with popular music. That's a product that will sell. That is a product that people will be able to relate with. Any other thing, do your self-composition, do your esoteric composition, all these abstract music. Well, I don't know how far we can go with that. Thank you. That's my own submission.
Sir,
Okay.
Dr. Osinigwe, thank you very much, sir. Sorry, Dr. Ayo, please permit me. I want to say one more thing.
Please
Can I go ahead, sir?
Please do.
All right. Script, not even online. So in that scene, how do we expect our works to go? So to fly? Because, for example, on radio, where I belong to, you don't use a voice that is not clear. And at times too, the one that really baffled me is some of our composers, especially those in the academics. If one requests for their works, okay, give me your works, let me hear them on radio. You're asking me that, what will I give them? What will be their gift? That I featured, I talked about his history, background, his training, his exposure, his works, and I played his works throughout an episode. I did another one for Dr. Ajayi, another one for Professor Lukoya, and a number of people I've done that for. But there are not enough material to hear because the mass media have power over the masses. It is what we play for them that gets into them. It's what we echo in their head that we don't have to dictate, but if you keep playing it over time, people will get used to it. But where are the materials? Our scholars don't record their works. And those who record their works, they don't release it for us broadcasters to hear the works. So how do we go from here?
Okay, thank you so much for that comment, sir. Okay, we have two people, we have two hands up. I will definitely get to you shortly, Mrs. Dukwe Ige. I'll get to you. And also I have for Mr. Ajayi. Your comment is there. I would definitely read now. You are on transit. Thank you so much, at least, for joining us and contributing. But just a few things, perhaps that will also help the next two questions that are coming into, a kind of perspective a bit, The first thing I think
I'm not hearing. No, is it only me?
Not only you, sir, he has been cut off.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, I thought I have problems with my. Okay.
No.
Let's wait until you come. Okay. Well, no. Well, okay, he's back.
Pardon me, I was thrown out by the same dynamics that we are, So the work of art is a language, composition, writing, drama, whatever we call it that belongs to the realms, spheres of art, they are language. They are meant to communicate. They address community, nation, people. People use them to negotiate certain forms of identity, to express who they are among a group of community people. For instance, a very short one. A community is not an homogeneous entity. A community constitutes communities. A nation is a combination of many nations. A public is a combination of many publics. When we talk about Lagos alone, you know how many social class we have in Lagos. Each of them have their own ideas of music. Each of these sects that defines Lagos or that define even Ikeja axis alone. We have the rich, the poor, the not so rich, the not so poor, and the low people. Each of these categories, they have dynamics. They have what shaped their ideology. Some of them is Fuji. Some of them is just hymns, those old people. Some of them is Burna Boy. Some of them is 1930, 1940 juju, 19 whatever. So now, this is where we are in society. Art music belongs to one of these public. It is not a Nigerian thing. It's a phenomenon across society of the world. That's what makes a society. It's a cumulation of diversity, the diversity in terms of taste, exposure, ideas. So the art music percentage in Nigeria is also feeding a particular community. Now, the question is, if this community is strong enough to propagate the art economy, or this community is not strong enough, is another discourse. It's another conversation that we need to have. Then the next one is, if this community is also patronizing or declining, is another communication that conversation we need to have. But what's important now is the fact, somebody mentioned something here that I think it's Dr. Chinedu also, and Mr. Our friend, Mr. Ayokumi. So the point is, the artwork itself needs to speak to the society. It needs to speak to the idea of taste. Society is defined by taste. And the reality is also that in Nigeria, there's a huge economy, even in Lagos alone, of art music. Yeah, people go to church every day. People do festival. Then the question underlining it is that, is this economy, this ecosystem, is it regulated? Are people trained are they trained to think of that work in terms of value? What kind of value are they placing on it? Let's give you a very basic example. If tomorrow I want to do a festival in my church, and the next thing, Dr. Osinigwe's song, Hallelujah Chimle, the next thing I do is to go to on a platform. Please, can somebody send me Dr. Osinigwe's Chimle? Before 1 hour, you are going to see 5 people sending the same song. Yes, that's an economy. It has its own advantage. It has its own negativity, in the sense that people will perform, you will be popular, but you won't be rich. Yeah. Some of them might even use the work. I think we've had this conversation somewhere else. Yeah, you'll be popular. Composer. But if you're not careful as a composer, if your work is going out in that way, there's a problem, a fundamental one, not from you, but it's even from the entire society of that art. There should be a form of regulation. If you invite me to your church to come and sing, there should be a kind of category, a criteria. As a singer, if I have DA, there should be a metrics of what I get paid. Even if I sing just one note, I'm leaving that place. There should be something that I should get. Even in South Africa, forget. If you are invited, you don't even, before even inviting you, they know what they want to pay you. If you have masters, if you have diploma, if you have PhD, if you have whatever, they know, because there is already a standardized, economic framework for every work of art. There's a policy, something called cultural policy. We don't have that in Nigeria, or we have it, we don't follow it. That is where value is being measured, aggregated, and monitored. I'm not sure we have that. In fact, the organic, somebody who's playing a particular church today or who perform in the concert today, because they can't pay the person 50,000. The person will say, I can't do that. The same person that said I can't do that, the next person, the friend of that person, will go for 30,000, the same concert. These are issues. It has nothing to do with society. It's about the professional body. I'm taking it back to the composers. So if the work is circulating photocopy, I'm sorry, I'll be popular as a composer, but I won't have money. The question is, we're now going back to like the work of Mr. Ajayi, the Nigerian Art Music Project. Yes, that's a platform that aims to help people, at least mitigate these challenges. But they are also facing challenges because the same composer who just finished a composition, we just send it out to somebody. Perform, please do this song. People don't understand economics of this work. People learn a lot about composition, but they learn nothing about the economy of that work. What's the economy? It's how value works. Who are the people who are willing to pay for my work? Sorry, today's not my day. It's not my presentation. Let me just stop there for a while. So this is what I think, we also need to understand how this work can circulate and come back with a value to me as a composer. It is when we get to that level of thinking, and that level of thinking also requires some certain type of training. It requires a certain type of training. People train to think like that. For me to talk in a place, there are things that must be in place. That's a training. I have been indoctrinated. It's not because I'm arrogant or pride. No, it's about my profession. It travels. It's a big problem. It's a big problem in Nigeria. Yeah, but the question is who is going to mediate? It's we. We are the people. We are the same way that will compose a song that will share it on WhatsApp, and people will fuck the copy, and you'll be happy because I am popular. And you go to the festival, you sit there, the composer, you bow, people clap for you, and that's all. The people that just perform that song, they will be paid. Again, let's come back. Let's have Sister Dukwe Ige Kashi.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Definitely, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Osinigwe, my good friend. Dr. Ayo, thank you so much for putting this together. I do have a question, but I just want to speak concerning, the question, how do we make Nigerian art music more popular, and more mainstream? It's a concern too of mine because I've realized that we're very closed in. We classical musicians or art musicians in Nigeria, in Lagos, we're very closed in. We're not open to ideas. We're not open to synergy. Okay, I applaud you, Dr. Osinigwe, for putting, seeing how you can use the golden oldies, popular music, and preserving them in art music form. But if we really want to be mainstream, how about us using new Nigerian pop, their songs, and putting them in art music form, and approaching them and asking them, do you know what, can we do a synergy whereby we back you up, where we do a collaboration, do you understand, that can now go on radio, really make it more mainstream, I think that is important. One of my aspirations, so to speak, what I would really love to see is us using more new school popular music to teach in our classrooms. Do you understand? So that there's a real marriage of new school, new ideas, and our, in quote, old teaching styles. So in this sense, is it possible for us to do a lot of synergy, to be more open, to be more open to new ideas, new writing styles of our art music? That's one. Then number two, we underestimate the power of media. Media is open to everybody. I'm trying to remember his name now. He's a son. He's very popular in art music too. He's written a lot of songs. He was he was the person that wrote Omi.
Okay, Oretime.
Oretime, right? There was a time he was teaching. He did a lot of things. He put people together. He was doing some artist songs, and he was doing it in where maybe you have done it, you've put it on YouTube, where you can now start generating money for yourself as an artist. You know, I don't know, I'm just throwing ideas out there, you know, for us to see how we can use these things, you know, for open as artists. Because the power is in how many people hear your songs or see you. So if we're still closed in and we're not thinking about doing a lot of synergy or putting our stuff out there on media is for everybody. You can use media to do a lot of things, you know, apart from the already established places where our songs can be heard. For instance, churches and choir festivals. Can we use media? Can we think more? Can we be broader in our thinking, in our reach, right? So record your songs. Don't just put them in sheet music form. Record them properly. Go to a proper studio. Record them. Put it out there on media, right? It doesn't have to be the full thing, because if you give them the full thing, and like Dr. Ayo says, you are not going to make money. You'll just be popular, but you'll be broke. So put something short and then direct them to a place where the more they watch it, the more it's generating money for you. You know, and there are many social media online platforms that do that right now. The very first one that comes to mind is YouTube. So if you can do it, that would be cool. You know, that's just what I want to say. A lot of synergy and utilization of media. Then the question I was going to ask, I've already written it in the comment section. You know, I was just going to say, I don't know where copyright fits into all of this, because I know that the songs that you used, Dr. Osinigwe, King Sunny Ade's song, and Oliver De Cook's song, I know those guys are, even Fatai really.
Respond. Dr. Osinigwe, you can respond, please. Please respond.
Yeah, thank you. You've really dropped a lot of ideas, some of which are backing up this initiative. It can be improved upon. We are looking at, taking it to a level where, like you said, artists, composers, art musicians start, benefiting. Now, let me come to that aspect of, we are in Nigeria, so to say. Ayo has, they have said it all, where we are in Nigeria. This is a place where you go to, there was a time, even before my first book, the compilation came out, a choir, one of them, has photocopied the whole book. I mean, photocopied the whole of the book and was showing it to me. I said, you even have the effrontery of showing me a book that's supposed to be selling. But you see, the problem is the legislation. All these things, we know that they are there, but to some extent, like I would say, most of us don't even know how to go about these things. Yes, about the songs that I use. I know that in terms of thematic materials we use as artists, composers use, I don't know if we are required to if maybe those artists are violating any copyright, because you are not performing the whole music as it were. You're just making use of a thematic. A lot of artists, they copy themselves in their songs. You see somebody singing his own song, and then he will, like Dr. Oladele say, appropriate another person's beats or kind of slangs or someone's own and put it in his music. And I don't think anybody sues anybody for copyright here in Nigeria. I don't know abroad. So borrowing thematic material, thematic motif of existing this thing, well, I still want to be educated if such is infringement on copyright this thing. And I know in this country, a lot of all these one-man show, they sing a lot of high life tunes to their audience, even when they have been paid, like entertaining their audience. They are not the, so, and nobody is suing them for any, so that's my own thing. So people will like, oh, what we are doing is like trying to propagate what is our own. Why some use it to make money? People like me will use it to carry fame. But you see, the idea is we want to be seen that we are promoting something. Copyright or no copyright, when we issue of copyright comes in, that is where we now know that this idea of promoting something may be restricted. If I cannot use your music, if I cannot play your music unless then I leave it to you. So I don't know if it's something that will help our cause or that will not. Well, we'll need a lot of people to, join in to tell us the way out in this. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Just a few things on that, Dr. Osinigwe. I have just pasted the link to our YouTube page right now. We've had a focus series on issues of copyright. We brought the director of Nigerian Copyright Commission, one of in Lagos, to Organhouse, MTU. And we did a focus session on issues of copyright. Everything you just spoke about now, we address. So please go to this link after the program and see the recordings on copyright in Nigeria. Everything this concern, everything is sorted in that particular video. And we are also planning to have a second section on that copyright issue. So the solution is always somewhere. And I think before today, we already have that. So check the recordings, of course. I pasted the link to that particular page. Just check it here in this comment section. So the director of copyright, one of them came, of course, is somebody who's also on the music scene, very popular, Mr. Charles Amudikwe. Mr. Charles Amudikwe is very popular. He's a musician, a conductor himself. So we actually analyze and, provide a kind of nuance and explanation and analysis of all these concerns that you just mentioned. Then also, yeah, Divio, can we have you, please?
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, definitely. Tell him.
Sorry, there will be noise at the background. Dr. Osinigwe, how are you now? Hello, doctor. Is he still there?
Nice hearing from you, sir.
I'm very well. Thank you so much.
Nice hearing from you, sir.
Yeah, sorry, I'm joining. I'm just joining. I'm joining a little bit late. Yeah, I've been in an exam mode since morning. In fact, actually, I stepped out.
No problem, sir.
Just to see your face. How are you? thank you for this explicit
Thank you
session.
very much. I'm fine.
Another wonderful seminar. Thank you so much for your time. I just want to chip in a few things quickly.
It's a pleasure, sir.
Particularly on the copyright thing. Like Dr. Ayorinde said, we've had a session on the copyright in organals. I was there, and the man from Copyright Commission. And it's actually, we address all these issues, all these spheres. But quickly, for the benefit of those who are here now, I think we need to be considerate of the way we handle other people's works. Using thematic elements in other people's compositions still falls under copyright law. It's still covered. But one funny thing about copyright did not say we shouldn't copy. No, copyright did not say we shouldn't copy. What copyright says is that copy with permission and copy as approved. So if I feel I want to use a thematic element in your work, no, let me just approach you. I need to do this, and we are on. There's no law that says you shouldn't copy, but copy with authorization, copy with permission. Because you see, like Dr. Osinigwe said again, some of this work, if you don't even copy it, it may remain in your shelf for long. And I also added, it also brings alliance. We need to work together. I'm happy we're addressing these issues. The people, our colleagues in the drama, they've been able to bridge the gap between the scholars and the practitioners in town. But in our own case, the gap is still there. Those of us who are art musicians, we are living in a world of our own. The people in popular musicians are living in the world. It shouldn't be. We should work, and not only in composition. We can work on the arrangement. We can work on we can work with them in the studio, because some of these things we know. We cannot continue to keep it to ourselves. It must be brought to the to the society to really understand what we do. So, like I said, we can copy, but just approach them. And if the man says you can't copy my work, then move to another person. But we can copy, but just approach them, explain to them, tell them what you need to do with their work. And I'm sure 80% of them, a large percentage of them will agree that, okay, go ahead to do this job. We've seen it done. People have been doing it before. I could remember K6 work with this CAC woman. A lot of it. So I think we can work, but we can work with permission. Secondly, before I seek your permission to step out to my exam call again, I'm also glad that we are considering, we are looking at the financial aspect of this thing. Art music has been, we have been, shall I say isolated? Because this thing, if I say isolated, it may be misrepresented. Nobody else, we actually stayed back. And I'm glad we are considering it, because you see, the people in the popular music world, they know how to maneuver their way. For instance, we are not using the media as effective as we should. We are not using the media as effective as we should. Apart from those of us there, I wonder how many people will know Dr. Osinigwe with the beautiful work he's doing. I'm wondering how many people in the society, we know Dr. Osinigwe, we know professors, but you see, we should begin to leave these things beyond the four walls of the university. So and how do we do this? We talk to the media. There are some of them that are very serious, and I actually expect some of us to be in the media. Yes, the challenge is reporting art music takes a degree of expertise. But we are there. We should. I also believe we should not limit ourselves to the classrooms. The space is there for us to occupy. So that's all I have to say for now. Thank you so much, Dr. Osinigwe. Thank you to everybody.
So thank you, sir. So
thank you, sir. Thank you for the contribution. Yeah, we appreciate.
Or do you want to react to that? Is there anything you want to say to Dr. Osinigwe? Is there anything you want to say?
No. I'm just greet him back. You know, just no.
Okay, so let's go back to
I'm
Mr.
not saying
Ajayi.
anything. Just try to greet him.
Yeah.
Greet him. That's all. Can continue. Yes.
Okay, let's go quickly to Mr. Ajayi. So I'm going to read some of his comments, and we can open it to our presenter to address. So let me see. Is this for second one? It's 2 comments. Okay. I'm reading now. Thank you, Dr. Osinigwe, for the good presentation. In popular music and other world music, recording is a form of documentation. Documentation is not limited to notations, but we can all agree that notations are a great way to standardization. I think that's what we want to write. I am curious if there are any specific techniques you use to create these works. That's a question to you. That's one. The second one, has there been any exploration of popular music techniques, or what are the distinct differences between your other art music compositions and your pop music arrangements, beside exploring the melodies? So that's the question. That's the first one. Do you want to react to that, or do you want to explain
that? Please, can you read that? Because when you were doing that, the voice was unstable. I couldn't get what you were. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay,
the
pardon me. I'm going to do that
didn't
again.
allow me get what.
Yeah, the first one, 2 questions, I think, or 3 in 1. I am curious if there are any specific techniques, you use to create these works, that is your popular music arrangement. The second one, has there been any exploration of popular music techniques, or what are the distinct differences between your other art music compositions and your pop music arrangements, beside exploring the melodies? So that's it.
Thank you very much, Ajayi, for that. Well, techniques, compositional techniques are all these things we learned from our school days as graduates of music and then can be developed over time. The techniques I use for my compositions that are not popular music themes, I can tell you are the same. But the aspect of this popular music is unique because we are treating something that is existing, that we want to make it remain that indelible when heard again, when you recreate. We don't want a situation whereby something you will bring out and then it will lose the identity in which it was known. So we'll try, in normal other kind of a composition, maybe an anthem. Oh no, you do a lot of things. You write, you use techniques to, different techniques to make the work expressive. But in this kind of work, like are you hearing me? Hello? Am I being heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
We are listening to you.
Yeah, okay. So in this work, you can see that what I did there was, if at least when you listen to the piano work, you can literally dance to it. Like the music is being played in a such a way that it gives you that rhythmic listening of music that can be danced to, music that can be, that represent how it's being performed even live. So the piano aspect, the bass aspect, giving that ostinato, this thing, the theory of what's it called, the pianism, where piano is used like instrument or whatever. And so it's a technique where, as you're making that music, you're also considering it. If there is no drum accompanying this, especially the instrumental, can it be played and people can as well move their bodies to the music without the instrument? And so this is a technique that that will be well that's well fitted with this kind of composition, because our music is danceable. Popular music has some form of dance. So when it's being expressed, in terms of a composition or a rearrangement, such also should be maintained. But apart from that, techniques are techniques. We use it both for normal composition, for rearrangement, for anything. So, but we'll also, what I'm saying in essence is, when you are not talking about bringing something that is in existence, that is in terms of our popular music genre, then we will be careful to see that the interpretation in the written form is something that people can also, identify with. I don't know if I'm able to address or answer your question.
But techniques. Yeah. Carry on, please.
The techniques remain the same. It's applicable to all manner of, endeavor in terms of composition, rearrangement, reharmonization, and every other thing. The same techniques apply. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm also, thank you so much. Thank you for your response, Dr. Osinigwe. I'm also going to read Mr. Ajayi's second comment, which I think allude to the conversation around visibility, economy, and also, selling of scores. So, and I think that is very important actually. So I'm going to read right now. So I think it's also in regarding the project Nigerian art music and how they have been able to mediate ideas around circulation, economic empowerment, and making it economically viable. So I am reading now. What I have observed about the promotion of art music in Nigeria. The few people who bought our scores did so because they saw the recordings online. And these recordings cost us a lot. Foreigners were more inclined to buy the few scores we sold. And it is not because we didn't have a plan for Nigerian buyers. In fact, we didn't promote it to these foreigners, but they searched for us. The demand for instrumental music is increasing, especially from the global south. However, there is a shortage of composers who write instrumental music. Do you want to respond to that, Dr. Osinigwe?
Yes, thank you very much. I will also appreciate Ajayi, for that initiative, because I was a good beneficiary of such initiative. Yes, making video. Do you know that this money thing has really proved to be a problem to, even when you want to call a fellow artist, singers, to help you synergize? They will, a sort of my student in Moson that has I approach a guy, can you please help me? I want to do this. Do you know where he started from? He said, can you pay 300,000? I said, 300,000 for you to just come and sing, some of these things and see how we can, it's not that we've not tried this, but thank God the Ajayi is saying it. It cost them a lot, even to bring in, I wouldn't know how we did that, bring in choral groups that help, performed our pieces, our composition. But when you bring that to an individual person, an individual composer, turning out like 300 or 500,000 to make maybe a video of one composition or two or three. You and I know that may not be possible. And then, and then also making use of those who are experts in all this video coverage and then clean videos that will sell your ideas. But it's not something that cannot be done. It's just that maybe the discussion will be, how can we involve those performers, these singers, because they are part of all these things. When we write, it's for those things to be performed. Do we have some singing group that say, we are here, use us, we want to collaborate with you. What do you have? Well, use us, we are available. And it's a synergy. And when you start making that money, you can say, okay, this percentage to you, this, but at first they come with so much as if, you are one money misroad guy looking for where you want to throw your money. And so that answers that aspect of, so because of that recording, like you said, people were able to appreciate and then request for what I've told you, the challenges behind doing such videos, even in this place. Then the other one, yes, instrumental. We are right. That's I'm reaching out to. Let's do more instrumentals. Yes, I noticed. I know about one guy, or I know about one guy. He's still in the US. Okechukwu. He has good piano works, but if I tell you where we can get, so maybe in the Catholic this thing, he has a way of, where people within that get his work. But this guy has numerous piano works that, we can also use to build our own kind of repertoire, piano works or instrumental works for even for our students here. So the idea is, where can we start synergizing, bringing all these things wherever they are and bringing them together? And that's brings me to what my brother said, Brother Tony, about archiving. I also want to ask you, Dr. Ayorinde, there was a time you came doing a project on archiving. I don't know where that has, because I know you would have been discouraged by our kind of, system here. But if such thing is in a place, we start, looking for all these materials where they are and put them together, and we have something to refer to. Well, that's what I want to say.
Okay, let's start from your last question. Thank you so much. Thank you. Just few points, and we'll take one or two more questions, then we'll close for the day. The project you spoke about, of course, I think it's going to like 8 years now. We started 2016, going to 10 years actually. That project is actually what we are doing right now. That project is what metamorphosed, and thanks to MTU, thanks to the organelles and all the infrastructure and the structure in that place actually made it happen. So if the project is ongoing, of course, it's an African archival project. It has from South Africa, Department of Music in Nigeria, and recently we have the Nketia Archive as part of the conversation. University of Makerere is part of it, and we are still expanding the network. Of course, this will be announced shortly. But what I'm telling you is that initiative is ongoing, and part of it is what MTU is doing its own parts of that collaboration, and that's what we are having, partly what we are having today. So it is on, of course. The discourse around archiving, particularly what the organelles is doing, is bringing a new touch into the idea of documentation and archiving. Because two things: documentation is not relevant if it is not available. We don't document to hide. We don't archive to hide. In fact, the very idea of archive is access. is to archive a particular material and provide access to it to those who need it. So when they go to that place, they will know, oh, this thing has been cataloged, it has been documented. So whatever you are looking for instance, if we are to catalog or archive your work now, we are going to map everything that you have done so far, and we are going to create it, code it in a way that when somebody types something on Google, it's going to bring you through and take them to whatever they are looking for. Just type the one title of your song. It will just take them to that catalog, wherever it is. That is what we are doing now. If you check our YouTube page, I have just sent a link here. Most of these conversations we are having, they are documented, they are archived there. That's a digital archiving. That's a model we are trying to create now, because the old model, which is still very, very significant across places, depending on infrastructure, is not in Nigerian context. There's a lot going on, but what we are doing is championing a digital archive. We have ongoing projects that we are going to open to the world shortly, but this one is the first experiment to show that this thing is possible, and not just archiving the music, but also archiving the ongoing intellectual processes and archiving it, having your presentation now. Somebody can come back 2 years to look for what you have discussed today and use that material as their project and draw from your theoretical framework, draw from your approach to composition, and that's somebody's career. So rather than going looking for one physical space and no problem, no light, well, no. We have solved that problem. People can just go to that YouTube page, our social media pages, and follow trend. What you have done today can bring about 10 PhD work for if people, yes. And it is free online. So that is it, what we are doing. That is what the organ house is doing, is bringing a new touch to the idea of documentation and archive. It's about access. The question is, how do we create this access? And that question is at the forefront of the idea of documentation, not only in Africa, across the world. And again, by extension, today, AI is powerful. Why is African conversation not popping up when you are engaging ChatGPT? It's because these materials are not even available. They are not well documented. Yeah, they're not documented. So those AI technology, they are generative. They generate, they see what is somewhere, what is well documented. Because archiving is self-documentation, they have standards. When you want to document the music, it must follow a particular framework. A picture, it has looking for Chinedu Osinigwe, it will bring you out to see your presentation. That is what we are doing. We are going beyond archiving as a store somewhere that you need to get a key to open the door and be looking for the paper, the dust. No, we are going beyond that. Yeah, we are going to where just click on your phone, wow. You can see all the materials. So that is on the one hand. Yeah. On the second hand,
thank you very much.
I just want to thank you, and thanks our colleagues for joining. Has been, on a weekly basis, we see you. Thank you so much. We are motivated by your commitment and your interest. Again, this project is on, and also some of you have, even without knowing, you have been part of the project itself. Thank you so much for your commitment. And we promise to take, as we've been promising you, we are not going to give up on this process. We are going to build it to a level where we are all going to be proud of it. Thank you so much. Dr. Osinigwe, it's been a wonderful time with you today, and we are so blessed with your work. And I'm very sure from the comments, from the ideas here and there, those comments can help you develop the idea further. But one thing I want to ask you, as promised, is there any way we could get those 2 recordings or the recordings you analyze? So we are going to make it available for people who attended today who could not hear the sound, so they can go back to it, listen to it, and perhaps they have any questions they are going to ask you. our social media platforms are very active. We are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook. For instance, I have also, of course, YouTube. I have the Facebook page here. You can just click and follow us. You get feeds from our weekly posts. Also on YouTube, we have series of videos covering different themes, and we are still going to do more in the next, we are still going to do more. So thank you so much. But if you can make that available, we can also generate online conversation around your presentation, of course. We can also do that. And that we also, the idea is to keep opening, and negotiate new models of doing things. That is the idea. We want to negotiate new models. We want to open it up and bring to the fore new ways of engaging old tradition. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your work, and we appreciate your commitment also to this process. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for this.
Carry on, please.
Yeah. Yes, thank you thank you very much for this platform. I'm so happy, at least, that I've been showcased on this platform. And then I want to thank you again profusely for your project, which you've explained to me, that this project, this series, is part of the whole project. I am elated that at least for once, something is working the way it should be in this country. Not for the sagacity and the tenacity you've shown to see that this thing, is taken to the expected end. I want to assure you that all the support that you need from us, I will gladly give at whatever point you want us to do anything to support this project, because it's going to benefit every one of us. I promise you that we are right behind you to give that support. Thank you to MTU for this platform. Well, we've known MTU to be the how will I say, the trailblazer in terms of music scholarship, in terms of music department. Even in Nigeria, they've shown us they have that. They have the power and the resources to be the leader, to show us how things are done, even in this dispensation of digitalization. And so I want to say I'm very grateful for this platform, and I want to thank all the participants and the questions they've raised, which I know will help in molding this paper, this work. And this time, at least we'll publish this in any of the journals available. I greet you all once again. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you for your time. Thanks to MTU. Thanks to all the organelles, Department of Music, and all the teams. It's not a one-man project. This project is anchored, on the strength of many people, both here in Nigeria, across the world, and so it's a project that is anchored on different ideas, different professionalism, and so thanks to the organ house team, thanks to everyone. The structure is very important. So what you're talking about is about structure, and we thank God for MTU, of course. We thank God for everything that is happening there. And I've said, we are always open. We'll keep you updated. That's how we do it. We'll keep you. It's about collaboration. It's a collective effort. Yeah, and that's how we can move forward. Thank you so much, friends and colleagues. It's another day. So please join us again for next week. It promised to be another time, please. In your calendar, kindly mark it. Next week is another day. Definitely, you see our posters, our materials around inviting you. Please look forward to that. And also take time, explore our YouTube page, explore our conversation on Facebook, social media, Instagram, Twitter, X, of course, then other forms. Then and you can also reach us. If there's anything you think you want to do, you have any idea, we are happy that scholars with us, and we are happy. So we are looking forward to more working together with you and others. Thank you so much. See you next week.